Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have returned, and no cinematic reboot is complete without an accompanying video game.
Yeah!
Nowadays, most gamers look back fondly on the original Turtles arcade games. Even the first Nintendo game brings a smile to most people's faces, despite its punishing level of difficulty. Unfortunately, more recent attempts to bring the Ninja Brothers to consoles have been continually lackluster. So does TMNT reinvigorate the franchise, or is it destined to become roadkill?
No way!
The game pretty much follows the plot of the film. Leonardo has left New York for the jungles of Central America, training to become a better leader. However, back in the city, the Turtles family has become dysfunctional. They no longer fight crime, with the exception of Raphael, who has secretly become a masked vigilante called the Night Watcher. The early levels mirror this split as you play each turtle separately. Once Leonardo returns to New York, the reunited quartet discovers that someone, with the help of the Foot Clan, is capturing 13 monsters to open a portal to another dimension, which will rain destruction on Earth. The Turtles must relearn how to be a family and how to fight as a unit in order to stop the threat. The story is told by the Turtles as they describe their adventures to their master Splinter. Cutscenes amount to comic book panels, but once in a while you're shown a brief clip from the movie. The plot is a little thin and somewhat convoluted, just like in the film. One of the first things you'll notice about TMNT is that it features no multiplayer options. This has been a huge component of past Turtles games, so it's a big disappointment.
I don't deserve to be a leader.
And considering how much this game stresses teamwork, it doesn't make much sense either. What's even more odd is that in the missions where all the Turtles are traveling together, you'll still only see one on screen at a time, even though you can hear them talking to each other constantly.
Hey, you did that on purpose! Oh yeah! I did not.
You can swap the characters and play as any of the four during the team-based missions, but their differences in fighting techniques are not unique enough to make you feel compelled to use one over the other. Each turtle has a different special ability. Michelangelo can use his nunchucks as makeshift helicopter propellers, Donatello can pole vault over large gaps, Raphael can use his size to climb walls, and Leonardo can mysteriously phase through certain obstacles. But each ability is not seamlessly woven into the fabric of the game. Instead, you'll come to a prompt, perform the action, and then move on. At the end of each level, you're given a grade, and the coins you collect in each stage can be used to buy extras like artwork, challenge levels, and videos. If you're looking for a lot of content from the games you buy, you should probably just steer clear, as TMNT's single-player adventure is fairly short, and there are no multiplayer options to pick up the slack.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
The most disappointing aspect of TMNT's gameplay is that there's actually very little action. The game is primarily a platformer, a simplified version of Prince of Persia minus the tight controls. Don't be surprised if every time you come across a platforming section, you find yourself saying a tiny prayer before jumping into the air. Many attempts to readjust after a jump will cause you to slide right off whatever you just leaped onto, and without any control of the camera, you'll often find yourself plummeting to your death.
Shell-shocked.
There are times when you can scramble across walls, jump fences, and otherwise fly through the air exactly how you think the turtles would. But then the reptiles will scramble across a wall when you don't want them to, and the whole thing is shot. When you do reach the action portions of the game, you'll find yourself fighting the same types of enemies over and over. It's also obvious that the combat system was created with children in mind. Most of the time you'll be solely relying on one attack button. You do have two, but one of them, the spin kick, isn't even effective. You can also hold the buttons down for more powerful moves, enter into slow motion combat, and can even perform team-up attacks with your brothers, but none of them are really necessary. Your fighting techniques stay the same for the duration of the game. There are no new moves or combos to learn. This makes the combat incredibly repetitive to the point where playing it more than a couple hours is only advisable for those who haven't seen the movie and want to discover the plot. It's also next to impossible to die during a fight. When the chips are down, you can always mash on a button to have one of the other turtles jump in and save your shell. Then the battered turtle is sent to the sideline to recoup. While it takes a lot of challenge out of the game, these moments are surprisingly sweet, as there's just something strangely pleasing about watching the turtles rushing to each other's aid. Unfortunately, these moments are few and far between, making TMNT somewhat of a chore to play.
Yeah.
What Ubisoft failed to realize when making this game is that half the people who would get excited for a new Ninja Turtles game are probably in their mid to late 20s, and are old enough to want more from a game than what TMNT provides. If you're a fan of the Turtles, you'll definitely enjoy it for a bit because of the nostalgia. But even that ends up wearing thin kind of quickly. If you're buying for a young one who liked the movie, then it's not a bad choice.
Whatever.